This landscape, these vast vistas of emerald pools, turquoise seas, and vibrant golden green shallows, are only seen one place on Earth. In this prehistoric landscape, human history spans over 2,000 years, from the nomadic Calusa to the modern settler. This is America's Everglades. The Everglades provides precious wildlife habitats, fresh water for millions of people, and unparalleled outdoor recreation. Today, this valuable landscape is at risk. This biosphere is squeezed between rising seas and ecosystems that are degraded by man-made flood control systems. So what are these biodiverse, globally important environments? And how is this system living, breathing, and life-sustaining for our entire planet? Where does the Everglades start, and where does it end? We begin here, the crown jewel of America's Everglades, Florida Bay. This bay is the finish line for all of Florida's fresh water. Flowing water is the lifeblood of the entire Everglades ecosystem. Here, at the tail end of the Everglades, these salty, brackish waters are home to brilliant, dense meadows of seagrass, some of which are large enough to be seen from space. They are also home to the largest coastal mangrove community within the United States. These prehistoric plants, over 100 million years old, have provided homes to an incredibly diverse community of species, from tiny invertebrates to large fish, crabs, turtles, marine mammals, and birds for over millennia. Seagrass and mangroves are some of the most productive ecosystems in the world. They are the two most critically important species and help determine the overall health of our coastal biosphere. These coastal plants sequester large amounts of carbon from our atmosphere. They also protect our shorelines and are vitally important to commercial fisheries and coral reefs. But seagrass around the world are being lost at a rate of about 2 football fields every hour. And between 1980 and 2000, 35% of the world's mangrove forests were lost. Our seagrasses and mangroves in Florida Bay and the Everglades are at particular risk. This dramatic loss is because of human activity. Where is it coming from, and how is it remedied? Surprisingly, the answer lies hundreds of miles away. It starts with a single drop of water. Rain. Rain falls an average of almost 60 inches per year here in Florida. This water recharges one of the most productive aquifers in the world, an aquifer system covering over 100,000 square miles and the entire state of Florida. Underground, with over 8 billion gallons of water, pressure builds and begins to flow upward to Florida's natural springs each day. The runoff from these springs, along with excess rainwater, evaporates or runs off into surface waters, like lakes, rivers, and streams. These bodies of water are what make up the headwaters of America's Everglades, starting with the unassuming Shingle Creek. Located in central Florida, this small waterway is the very start of the Everglades. Named after the wood shingles 19th century settlers made from the cypress trees that line the banks, Shingle Creek and its surrounding areas are home to countless plant and animal species. Taking its life from water underground and the sky, this creek feeds a series of waterways that make their way down the belly of the state of Florida. Stringing together a chain of lakes, it then continues its journey south through the Kissimmee River, and then finally to the heart of Florida's watershed. Standing on the banks of this massive lake and looking out, you would think you've hit the coastline. Lake Okeechobee is the largest lake in Florida, covering more than 700 square miles. Its size is demonstrated on how the health of this vast water body affects every ecosystem it's connected to. Imagine a heart that beats and supplies the entire circulatory system. This is what Lake Okeechobee is for our watershed and biosphere alike. In the early part of the 20th century, a levee was built to stop the natural flow of water. This helped to drain the landscape and accommodate for agriculture and the expansion of communities south of the lake. The excess water was then redirected to the east and west down the Caloosahatchee and the St. Lucie rivers. But it starved the Everglades of water. This lack of water started a chain reaction that affected everything and everyone south of the lake. Our water and the lifeblood of the Everglades was going the wrong way. Historically, Lake Okeechobee would overflow. During the rainy season, billions of gallons of fresh water flowed over the lake's southern rim, nourishing the Everglades marshes, sloughs, and tree islands all the way to Florida Bay. This water also recharged the Biscayne Aquifer that millions of Floridians depend on. Because of this diversion of water flow, clearing for agriculture, and other man-made developments, the Everglades is now one of the most endangered ecoregions in North America. For more than half a century, man-made pollution, such as excess phosphorus from fertilizers, agriculture, and land development, has degraded water quality in our lakes, waterways, and along our coastlines. This water pollution is now fueling the overgrowth of algae that threatens our environment, our health, and our economy. In the Everglades, this pollution is altering the food web and transforming the native habitats. It is estimated that over 50% of the Everglades has been lost, and much of what remains is threatened by pollution, lack of fresh water, and now sea level rise. But work has started to fix this problem. A reservoir south of the lake will be constructed. From there, the water will be sent down through the Everglades following the historic path it once took. But there's another obstacle, a road that defines the northern boundary of Everglades National Park. Tamiami Trail was built in 1928 to connect two emerging Florida cities, Tampa and Miami. While this road aided in the development of Florida, it quite literally cut South Florida from its natural water source. This led to dramatic changes in the ecosystem all the way to Florida Bay. The solution? Surprisingly simple. Raise the road and let the water through. A series of 3 bridges were constructed along a 10-mile span of Tamiami Trail so that the water could flow into the park. After almost 100 years, water flow was restored. At the end of this nearly 250-mile journey, our water finally arrives where our story began, in Florida Bay. Here, the delicate balance of fresh and salt water sustain an incredible collection of aquatic life. It is why Florida is the fishing capital of the world, why year after year, people from all over support the robust tourism industry that Florida depends on. This journey of water illustrates the importance and connectivity water has here in Florida. These bountiful systems of streams, aquifers, lakes, estuaries, and springs feed the widest river in the world, our river of grass, our Everglades.